Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get started. Today, it is on February 10th, 2024. It's on Saturday and sunny. How are you spending Saturday? Do you have a work or school today? Or do you have a day off today? When I was a university student, sometimes I used to have a class even on Saturday to make up for the cancellation of the classes on weekdays uh, from for the reasons such as typhoon and others. Uh, hmm. I also sometimes took an examination, preliminary examinations called Moshi on Saturday. I cannot place my trust in such a person who tells lies all the times. How dare you could place your trust in such a person who tell many lies all the time? How dare you could place your trust in the person you met for the first time, paying as much as 10,000 yen? I cannot place my trust in such a person who tells lies all the time. Hmm. Whenever I perform in front of the people in public, I try to place my trust in my ability so that I can imagine a good future on the stage. And also say to myself that I can do, that I can do. Hmm. I cannot place my trust in such a person who tells the lie all the time. I cannot trust such a person. I cannot place my trust in such a person who is always late for the destination. I cannot place my trust in such a person who is late for the destination all the time. Can you place your trust in such a person who is always be late for the destination? Can you place your trust in such a person who is always be late for the destination? Can you place your trust in such a person who is always be late for your the destination? Can you place your trust in such a person who is always be late for the destination? Don't place your trust in a person whom you've met for the first time. How dare you could place your trust in the salesperson who tried to sell you the merchandise for exorbitant price? How dare you could place your trust in the salesperson who tried to sell the goods for exorbitant price? Maybe at your friend's house you will go to the toilet with the bag on the table because you place your trust in your friend, right? Maybe you will go to the toilet with a bag or belongings on the table because you place your trust in your friends, right? You are sure that your friends will not steal your belongings. You are confident that your friends will not steal your belongings. You place your trust in your friends. Can you place your trust in your parents? Can you place your trust in your boss? Can you place your trust in your colleagues? I came to place my trust in the person after I realized his persistency. I got to place my trust in the person because of his persistency. When I met him for the first time, I couldn't place my trust in him. But gradually, I got to place my trust in him because of his persistency. Place your trust in your skills and ability before taking the examinations. Imagine you succeeding in the examinations. Imagine you succeeding in examinations. Imagine you solving difficult questions easily. Imagine you taking the examination smoothly. Place your trust in your ability. Place your trust in your ability. Place your trust in the advice from your doctor. Place your Place your trust in what you are doing for improving your skills. Place your trust in your future. Place your trust in the advice from your doctor, teachers. You deposit your money in a bank account, in your bank account, because you place your trust in the bank, right? I'm sure that many of you deposit your money in the bank, for you place your trust in the bank, right? You place your trust in the bank, right? We deposit our money in the bank because we place our trust in the bank, right? To a certain extent, to some extent, to some degrees. I used to place my trust in the celebrity until he got into the corruption. I used to place my trust in the celebrity until he engaged in the corruption. I had placed my trust in the celebrity until he was involved in the criminal activity. I had placed my trust in the minister until his wrongdoing was made public. We deposit our money in the bank, for we place our trust in the bank. We deposit money in the bank as we place our trust in the bank. At your friend's house, maybe you will put your belongings on the table and go to the toilet. Because you place your trust in your friends, you are sure that your friends will not steal your belongings. You are confident that your friends will not steal your belongings. You are certain that your friends will not steal your belongings, right? So, meaning you place your trust in your friends. 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 I cannot place my trust in such a person telling many lies all the times. I cannot place my trust in those being late for the destination all the time. I cannot place my trust in those being late for the destination all the time. Work on your duty, work on your study on a daily basis. Otherwise, you will end up dealing with a lot of work later. Work on your study on a daily basis, or else you will end up dealing with a lot of work later at the last minute. Work on your study on a daily basis, little by little. Otherwise, or else, you will end up dealing with a lot of work later at the last minute. Eat vegetables as well as meat. Otherwise, disease might develop. Eat vegetables as well as meat, or else the nutrition will be leaned, tilted. Eat vegetables as well as meat, or else your nutrition will be leaned. Eat vegetables as well as meat, or your nutrition you've got will be biased. When I went to the northern part of Japan, I felt so cold even with lots of clothes. With more clothes. With more clothes than here. I prepared for the cold weather with a lot of clothes. However, I felt cold. Write the professor sat down. Write down the professor what the professor explained. Otherwise, you will forget it later. Jot down what professor is saying. Otherwise, you will forget it. Or you always resort to your friends for the notebook. You always rely on your friends just before the examinations. Were you the kind of person who didn't take the note, but always ask your friends to lend you the notebooks for the preparation of the examinations later? Were you this kind of student? Were you this kind of student who did not take the note of what the professor explained, and you always asked your friends to lend you the notebooks just before the examinations for study? Or were you this kind of student like me who took the note of what professor explained on the board, everything? Hold a press conference and make apologies to the consumers. Otherwise, your reputation will decrease more. Hold a press conference and give apologies to the consumers and victims. Otherwise, the reputation of the company will decrease more. Have a regular and moderate exercise. Otherwise, you might develop a disease. Leave now. Or you might miss the train. We should leave now, or else we might miss the last train. Departing at 0:30 a.m. The last one. We had better leave now, else we might miss the last train. You ought to limit the amount of lunch up to 80%, or else you might feel sleepy later. You should limit the amount of food of lunch up to maybe 80%, else you might feel sleepy later. We ought to limit the amount of food for lunch up to 80%, so that we won't feel sleepy later. We ought to limit the amount of food up to 80%, or we might feel sleepy. But even when I limited the amount of food for lunch, I felt sleepy. So nothing can help for me, maybe. Excuse me, but could you move over there a little bit more? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was taking up so much space. Excuse me, but could you move over a little bit more? Sorry, I didn't realize. I hadn't realized I was taking up so much space. I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. Sorry. I'm sorry, but could you move over a little bit more? Could you move over a little bit more? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. I'm sorry, but could you move over a little bit more? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. No, it's okay, because you were alone there. Excuse me, but could you keep an eye on my belongings while I'm in toilet? I'm sorry, but could you turn the car around? I forgot an important document at my home. Sure. I'm sorry, but could you return to our home? I forgot to bring the important documents. I'm sorry, but could you stop by a convenience store to go to the toilet? Sure. Sure thing. I'm sorry, but could you stop by somewhere to go to the toilet? I'm sorry, but could you stop by somewhere? Could you stop by somewhere to go to the toilet? Sure. I'm sorry, but could you drop by somewhere to go to the toilet? I'm sorry, but could you drop in at somewhere to go to the toilet? Sure. Excuse me, but could you turn down the volume of the stereo? Excuse me, could you turn down the volume of the TV? Excuse me, could you turn down the air conditioner? I'm feeling so cold. Sure. Sorry, I didn't realize you were feeling cold. Excuse me, but could you turn down the air conditioner? I'm feeling cold. Excuse me, but could you turn down the air conditioner? Turn down the air conditioner. Excuse me, could you turn down the air conditioner? Excuse me, could you turn up the volume of the TV? I couldn't hear anything because of the noise of the conversation around. Excuse me, but could you turn up the volume of the TV? I cannot hear anything because of the noise of the conversation around. Excuse me, but could you revise some parts of the document and submit it to us again? Excuse me, but could you fill the documents in and submit it to the Windows C? Excuse me, but put the stamp on the right up of the document. Excuse me, but could you give us your sign here? Excuse me, but could you give us your sign here? Either with your personal sign or your writing sign. Excuse me, but can you give please write your signature here by either your personal seal or writing. Excuse me, but please write your signature here by either your personal seal or writing. Excuse me, but could you write your signature here? Excuse me, but could you give us your signature here by either your personal seal or writing? Excuse me, but could you give us your signature here by either personal seal or writing? I'm sorry. Excuse me, but could you give us your signature here by either your writing or personal seal? Personal seal. Excuse me, but could you work on Saturday instead of me to take the place of me? Because I have a plan for Sunday, which I cannot skip. Sure. Excuse me, but could you work on Sunday to take the place of me? Because I have a plan which I cannot skip. Reject, decline, turn down, dismiss. Sure. Excuse me, but could you work overtime today? We need to finish the task by today. Sure. Some of the employees already rose up to work overtime with willingness. Sure. Excuse me, but could you close the blinder? Excuse me, but could you close the door? Excuse me, but could you be silent? I'm working on my duty. Excuse me, but could you turn down the volume of the conversation? I'm not asking you to stop conversation, but could you turn down the volume? Thank you. Excuse me, but could you turn down the air conditioner? I'm feeling cold. Excuse me, but could you turn down the volume of the TV? Excuse me, could you turn up the volume of the TV? I cannot hear anything. Excuse me, but could you turn down the air conditioner? Excuse me, could you turn down the heater? 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 Exhausted as I was, however, I gathered my last power and finished doing chores such as washing dishes and so on. It was raining so heavily outside. However, we enjoyed playing soccer. Typhoon was approaching. However, the festival was pushed for. Typhoon was approaching. However, the festival took place by strong power, pressure, money, and so on. Typhoon was approaching. However, the festival was held. It's snowing so heavily outside. I used to wear half-sleeved t-shirt. It was snowing so heavily outside. However, I was with only t-shirt. It was snowing heavily outside. Nevertheless, I was with half-sleeved t-shirt inside. It was so cold outside. Nevertheless, I saw some surfers surfing on the ocean. It was 7 o'clock a.m. But nevertheless, I found many people swimming in the sea. It was still 7 o'clock a.m. I saw some people swimming in the ocean. It was 7 o'clock a.m. Nevertheless, nonetheless, I saw some people swimming in the ocean. It was in February, in the middle of winter. Nevertheless, the country felt warm. I felt warm in the country. It was January, in winter. Nevertheless, I felt warm during the day in the region. I ate enough dinner last night. Nevertheless, I felt hungry soon after. I eat enough lunch every day. However, nonetheless, I sometimes feel hungry soon later. Nevertheless, Nevertheless, she worked none the harder because she had given birth to a baby. She worked none the harder for having given birth to a baby. I studied English none the harder because I wanted to enter the university. I studied English none the harder for wanting to enter the university, but for myself. It was just 7 o'clock a.m. Nonetheless, there were many people lining up in the queue in front of the entrance of the amusement park. It was only 7 o'clock a.m. Nonetheless, I saw many people lining up in the queue in front of the entrance of the amusement park. Oh my god. Wait time for the attraction was 2 hours. Nonetheless, I used to wait. I cannot believe it now. The wait time for the attraction was like 2 hours, but I used to wait for the time. I cannot do that again. I cannot believe I used to wait for such a long time in order to enjoy attractions. The wait time for the attraction was like 3 hours. Nonetheless, there were many people lining up in the queue in order to enjoy the attraction. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Nonetheless, the CEO of the company took it as a chance and told its employees that they would make the best product in the world from now. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy. Nonetheless, the CEO of the company took it as a chance and told the employees that they would make the best product in the world with no confidence at all. Nonetheless, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Still, the CEO of the company took it as a chance and told its employees that they would make the best product in the world. Many years have passed since the birth of the universe. Still, we don't know many things about the universe. Many years have passed since the birth of the universe. Still, we don't know many things about it, or mostly, we don't know. The universe is filled with mystery, but I'd like to find out of how we were born, how we existed, how the universe functioned, and so on. I'd like to know more. I'd like to know the origin of the universe, or and the edge of the universe, and how it would be inside of the black hole. Many, many years have passed since the birth of the universe. Still, we don't know most of the things about the universe. Many, many years have passed since the birth of the universe. Still, we don't know many things yet. We are working on a pile of tasks from the morning. Still, we've just finished a quarter of them. We've been working on the heap of tasks from the morning. Still, we've just brought an end to only a tenth of it. We've been working on the duty from the morning. Still, we've just finished only a tenth of them. A tenth of them. The employee made many mistakes. Still, he didn't make any apologies. The products are so expensive. Still, they are selling well. The company hired an extra 10 employees. Still, they cannot cover the increased demands yet. The company employed extra further 10 employees. Still, they cannot cover the increased demands yet. The company hired extra 10 people, 10 employees. Still, they cannot cover the increased demands. They are getting more orders from customers. The company hired extra 10 employees in order to cover the increased orders from customers. However, still, nevertheless, they haven't covered the increased demands yet. They are going to hire more. The parking fee for 1 hour was 3,500 yen. Still, we parked there because there was none where we can park. We could park. The parking fee for 1 hour was as much as 3,500 yen. Still, we were obliged to park there. The parking fee for 1 hour for 30 minutes was as much as 3,500 yen. Still, we parked there because there was none except for that. Hmm. Playing the game was my first time. Still, I won the beginner's luck. Playing the board game was my first time. Still, I won the beginner's luck. The kid played the musical instrument for the first time. Still, he showed a good talent. The kid played the musical instrument for the first time. Still, he showed a great talent, ending up a professional guitarist later. It was raining so heavily outside. Still, we enjoyed playing soccer. Hmm. Taking a taxi it was a little bit expensive, but we took that for convenience. It was 7 o'clock a.m. Still, there were many people waiting in line in front of the entrance of the amusement park. Mm. The game console cost more than 50,000 yen. Still, it was sold out soon later. The game console cost more than 50,000 yen, and yet it was sold out soon later. The game console cost more than 50,000 yen, but yet it was sold out soon after it was released. The game console cost more than 50,000 yen, but yet it was sold out soon after it was released. Hmm. I took the medicine 30 minutes ago, and yet it's not working yet. I took the medicine 30 minutes ago, but yet it's not working. I took the medicine 30 minutes ago, and yet it is not working yet. I asked a question about how to apply for the position to the company, but yet I haven't received the reply from the company yet. I sent a message to the company to ask some questions, and yet I haven't got a reply. I sent a message to ask some questions to the company a few weeks ago, and yet I haven't got the reply yet. I sent a message to ask some questions to the company, and yet they haven't replied my message yet. It's already 1 hour after the limited time, and yet he hasn't arrived here yet. It's 1 hour past the limited time to arrive at the company, and yet he hasn't arrived here yet. It's 1 hour past arrival time, but yet the bus hasn't arrived here. It's 30 minutes past arrival time on the time schedule, and yet the bus hasn't arrived here. It's 30 minutes past the arrival time on the time schedule, but yet it hasn't arrived here. It's 30 minutes beyond the arrival time, and yet it hasn't arrived here. It's past 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes past the arrival time. It's 30 minutes past the arrival time. Still, it hasn't arrived here. The bus hasn't arrived here. It's 30 minutes past the arrival time of the time schedule, and yet the bus hasn't arrived here. It's 45 minutes past the arrival time of the time schedule, and yet the bus hasn't arrived here. It's 30 minutes past the arrival time of the time schedule, and yet it hasn't arrived here. But yet it hasn't arrived here. I've been practicing the musical instrument for more than 10 years, and yet my skill is as good as a beginner. I've been practicing the musical instrument for more than 10 years, but yet my skill is as good as that of beginners. I've been practicing the musical instrument for more than 10 years, and yet my skill is as good as that of beginners. It was raining so heavily, but the coach proceeded with the game. Hmm. The curry was so spicy, and yet the person sitting next to me was eating it with no problems, although I was struggling. It was in the middle of the midnight, and yet many soccer fans were watching the game. Many years have passed since the product was produced, and yet it was kept with very good condition. It was as good as intact. Many years have passed since the completion of the product, and yet the condition of product is as good as new. Many years have passed since the piece was created by the composer, but yet it has very strong influence. I went to the toilet 10 minutes ago, and yet I feel like going to toilet again. I went to toilet just 5 minutes before, just 5 minutes ago, but yet I feel like going there again. I ate lunch 10 minutes ago, and yet I feel hungry. I ate lunch 10 minutes ago, but yet I feel hungry already. I ate enough lunch 10 minutes ago, and yet I already feel hungry. Is it normal? I ate lunch 10 minutes ago, and yet I already feel hungry. I ate lunch 10 minutes ago, but yet I already feel hungry. I played the game for the first time, and yet I won the beginner's luck. I played the game for the first time, but yet I won the beginner's luck. Most of the viewers expected the champion to win the match between him and the challenger. And yet, to everyone's surprise, the challenger won. And most viewers of the match expected the champion to win over the challenger. But yet, the challenger won. Work on your study on a daily basis, else you would end up dealing with a lot of work later at the last minute. Take the medicine as you are told by your doctor, else the healing speed will decrease slower. Take the medicine as you were advised from your doctor, else the healing speed will be slower, or it might make it worse. First boil the water enough, then add the noodles and powder. Wait 30 minutes for the noodle to be ready. Then add the powder in it. Wait for 30 minutes to wait for 3 minutes for the noodle to be completely ready. Then add the powder into the boiled water. First wait for 30 minutes after you filled the cup with the boiled water to wait for the noodle to be ready. Then add the powder into it. First you have to wait for 30 minutes for the noodle to be ready. Then add the powder into the boiled water. First boil the water and pour it into the cup and wait for 3 minutes for the noodles to be ready, and then add powder. We went to the ramen restaurant first. Then we went to karaoke as a second party. I usually have a breakfast, a light breakfast, then have a drink, a cup of coffee later. I usually have a light breakfast and drink a cup of coffee. I usually brush my teeth, then eat breakfast. Some people might do the opposite. Some people brush their teeth and wash their face before they eat breakfast, while others do the opposite. Some people wash their faces and brush their teeth before they eat breakfast, while others do the opposite. First, you have to finish the chapter 3. Then you should move on to the chapter 4. First, you should finish the course A. Then move on to the course B. Wait for 30 minutes for the noodles to be ready, and then add powder. First, wait for 3 minutes for the noodles to be ready, and then add the powder into the cup. First, we went to the amusement park, and then we directly went back to home. We directly went back home. First, I went to my friend's house to pick them up. First, I stopped by my friend's house to pick him up, and then we headed for the amusement park in the very early morning. First, you have to pass the national examination, and then you apply for the position. First, you have to pass the national examination, and then you have to register at your prefectural office. First, you have to pass the entrance. First, you have to pass the national examination, and then you have to register at your municipal council. She ate set menu A and set menu B. Also, she ordered chocolate parfait later. The club team have the practice in the morning, also after school. The club team have the practice after school, also in the morning before the class starts. The club team have the practice after the class. Also, in the morning before the class starts. The senior officials were invited to the sushi restaurant. Also, she was entertained with shower at the runway of the airport. The senior officials were entertained with the shower, welcoming shower at the runway of the airport. Also, they were invited to the sushi restaurant. The employee was promoted to the general manager of the department. Also, he won the roulette of the vending machine, getting 2 cans of juice for 150 yen. He forgot to bring the important documents to the... Also, he stumbled over the stones. He forgot to bring the important documents. Also, he tripped over the stone. He forgot to bring the important documents. Also, he fell on the street. He forgot to bring the important documents. Also, he passed the station he was going to stop at. He forgot to bring the important documents. Also, he passed the station he was going to stop at because he was sleeping. The earthquake occurred in the region, also which created tsunami later. Some students prepare for the new chapter they have learned yet. Also, they review what they have learned. We went to the tavern A. Also, went to tavern B later. I set a password for the account. Also set the fingerprint protection for sure, just in case. I set a password for my account. Also set a fingerprint protection, fingerprint evaluation, fingerprint recognition. I set a password for my account. Also set my fingerprint recognition, just in case. I set a password for my account. Also, I set my fingerprint recognition for sure, to be sure of the safety. For sure of safety, for certain of safety. To make sure of safety, to make certain of safety. I could approach the destination without being caught by the traffic signals. Also, I was promoted to the section-in-chief. I could go to the destination without being caught in the traffic signal. Also, I could enter the restaurant without waiting at all. The company A embarked on the new business. Also, they are planning to embark on a foreign country as a challenge. The company A recorded the highest profits last year. Also, the highest number of employees were hired. The company A recorded the highest profits last year. Also, recorded the most number of branch offices across Japan. The company A recorded the highest profits last year. Also recorded the most number of branch offices across Japan. Those applying for the plan today is eligible for gaining 500 points, which can be used for shopping. Besides, free 1 month fee. Those who apply for the plan by the deadline are eligible for getting 1000 points, which can be used for shopping among the online shopping. Besides, they can get a free monthly fee. They don't have to pay 1 month. 1 month, 1 month fee will be free. Those applying for the plan by the deadline during the campaign are eligible for gaining 500 points, which can be used for shopping in the shopping site. Besides, 1 month pay is exempt. They are exempt of paying 1 month fee. The first month. The first month fee. Those applying for the plan by Friday are eligible for getting 500 coupons. Besides, they are exempt from paying the first monthly fee. Those applying for the plan A by the end of this month are eligible for getting 500 yen coupons. Besides, they are exempt from paying the first monthly fee, which usually costs as much as 5,000 yen. So don't miss this good dealing. Good dealing. Those applying for the plan A are eligible for getting 500 yen worth of coupon. Besides, they are exempt from paying the first monthly fee. Don't miss this good opportunity. Good an opportunity to lose. It is too good an opportunity to lose. It is as good an opportunity as winning the lottery. No way. Insane. Whatever, whatsoever. The car driver drove his car drunk. Besides, he bumped into the wall. Hopefully, no one was injured, except for the wall. I set a password, very intricate password for my account. Moreover, I set the fingerprint recognition, just in case, fingerprint recognition, as a strict protection. I set a password, very intricate, confusing password for my account. Moreover, I set a fingerprint recognition as a stricter protection to prevent scammers or other hackers from entering my account. The club team has a daily practice after school. Moreover, they also have morning practice before class starts. The club team have the practice after school. Moreover, they have morning practice after classes start. Moreover, 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 moreover. Some students prepare for the new chapter which they haven't learned yet. Moreover, they review what they have learned. Some students study at school. Moreover, they go to cram school to prepare for examinations or ask questions about they cannot understand and so on. Students go to school. Moreover, some of them go to a cram school to prepare for entrance examinations or ask questions which they couldn't understand at school and so on, according to their pace. The company reward people to enter the company, to work for the company with generous monthly income. Besides, twice the amount of monthly income on the first month. The company lured people with generous monthly pay. Besides, twice as much income as monthly for the first month. The company lured people with generous monthly payment. Besides, they offered twice the amount of monthly income on the first month. The company lured candidates with generous monthly fee. Moreover, they offered that twice the amount of payment of 1 month for the first month. The company lured its candidates with generous monthly payment. Moreover, they offered that twice the amount of monthly pay on the first month. I'm not interested in operating a machine. Hence, I felt depressed using the machine, working in the department all the time. I don't have the interest in cards. Hence, I don't need exclusive cards. I am not interested in cars. Hence, I don't have to own an exclusive car, fancy car, exclusive car, fancy car, expensive car. Hence, the employee kept ignoring notice from his boss. Hence, he was fired for as repeated negligence. The employee did not obey what they were told from his boss. Hence, he was laid off for repeated negligence. The, the person kept working hard on his baseball practice with his father without ignore with other people laughing at him. Hence, he became a professional baseball player. He succeeded in making his way to his dream, becoming a baseball player, professional baseball player. The kid kept working hard on his baseball practice with many others laughing at him. Hence, he became a professional baseball player. He succeeded in making his way to his dream. Hence, hence, hence. Pandemic started, hence many events were cancelled, lower, or postponed. Commodity prices and others have been rising up. Therefore, some people are raising voices. To raise their payment salary. Commodity prices have been rising up, which are affecting their life, including me. Hence, they are raising voices. Commodity prices have been increasing in recent years. Therefore, some of them have been raising a voice to increase their payments and so on. It's on Saturday, so there were as many again as weekdays on the shopping mall. It was on Saturday. Therefore, there were as many again as there were half as many people again as on weekdays in the shopping mall. It was on Saturday. Therefore, there were people, half as many again as on weekdays. It is on Saturday. Therefore, there are people, customers, half as many again as on weekdays. The person stuck with his crazy ideas. Consequently, he accomplished the feat. The researcher adhered to his crazy ideas. Consequently, he invented the masterpiece. The researcher stuck to his crazy policies, ideas. Consequently, he accomplished the feat. He achieved the feat. He achieved the feat. He achieved the feat. The student studied so hard. Consequently, she passed one of the very difficult universities, which made the teachers by surprise, which took the teachers by surprise, which took many teachers by surprise. The person stacked up a daily effort every day, gradually, little by little. Consequently, his effort bear fruit. I made many mistakes. Consequently, I could reach the success a little bit closer. I made a mistake. Consequently, I could approach the success a little bit closer. I made a mistake. Consequently, I could approach my success destination target a little bit closer. I made many mistakes. Consequently, I could learn from the lessons. I made many mistakes. Therefore, hence, I could learn from the lessons so that I wouldn't make the same mistakes again. I made many mistakes. Consequently, I could learn from the lessons in order that I won't make the same mistakes again. I got rid of other things except for English study. Consequently, I could gain more English knowledge than average people. I guess so. I hope so. The person devoted much of his life to the practice of the musical instrument. Consequently, he won the prize. He devoted much of his day in the life of the day to the practice of the musical instrument. Consequently, he won one of the very venerable, renowned prizes in the world. He devoted much of his time in a day, every day, to the practice of the musical instrument. Consequently, he became one of the most famous pianists in the world. The scale of the disaster was more than expected. Twice the number of rescuers. Twice the number of original rescuers were deployed to the disaster-stricken area. The scale of the disaster was far more devastating than expected. Twice the number of original rescuers were deployed, stationed, sent to the disaster-affected area. The scale of the disaster was a lot, much, far and away, by far, even more devastating than predicted. Twice the number of the original rescuers was sent to the disaster-affected area. Wait time for the attraction was at 2 hours. I didn't wait at all. Wait time for the attraction which I wanted to take was estimated at 2 hours. So I got the first pass so that I can enjoy it, so that I could enjoy it without waiting too long. I don't know the system of fast pass ticket still available in the amusement park. With a fast pass ticket, you can enjoy the attraction without waiting too long. Your turn is prioritized. It's like a reservation ticket. Wait time for the attraction was estimated for 2 hours, so I gave up waiting for 2 hours. I got the fast pass ticket, which allowed me to enjoy the attraction without waiting so long, which was very convenient. I'm not sure if the system is still available. It takes about 3 hours to the destination by bus, so I finished going to toilet before I took the bus. It takes about 3 hours to get to the destination by bus. I highly recommend you that you finish going to toilet beforehand. There were many cracks on the concrete road. Construction on the road is estimated to last whole day. Many wrecks were found on the road. The construction on the road is estimated to last whole day. Hardly had I stepped outside when it began to rain. I had hardly stepped outside when it began to rain. I had hardly got home when I got the emergency call from my boss. Scarcely had I stepped outside before it began to rain. I had scarcely stepped outside before it began to rain. I had scarcely got home before my pet dog ran to me. No sooner had I stepped outside than it began to rain. I had no sooner stepped outside than it began to rain. No sooner had I got home than my pet dog jumped at me. I had no sooner arrived at home my pet dog ran to me than my pet dog ran to me. It was not long before my name was called. It was not long before my name was called. It was not long before my turn came. It was not long before 20 years old arrived at me. It was not long before I turned 20 years old. It won't be long before the ambulance comes. It won't be long before the new type of the product is released. It won't be long before I turn 30s. It won't be long before I turns in my 30s. It won't be long before my turn comes. It will not be very long before the ambulance comes. It won't be very long before the ambulance arrives. It won't be very long before the ambulance arrives. It won't be very long before our boss arrives. It won't be very long before my father gets out of the bath. It was so cold outside. Consequently, I stayed at home. It was raining so heavily. I killed time in the subway. It was raining so heavily, so I killed my time in the underground shopping arcade. Which do you prefer, the place filled with customers or the place with no customers at all? I'd like you to guess which is genuine. I'd like you to guess whether he is a man or a woman. I'd like to guess whether that person is a man or a woman. I'd like to guess which is me in the picture. I want you to guess which is me in the picture. I want you to guess which is me in the picture. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Consequently, many foreign tourists choose to go to Tokyo for the first time. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Consequently, it has the largest population in Japan. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Consequently, it has the largest population in Japan. The musician had a concert at a live house, also had a second live at the hall later. The club team has a practice after school. Also, it has a morning practice before class starts. The business person forgot to bring important documents. Besides, he tripped over on the street. The employee was promoted to the section in chief of his department. Moreover, he won the lottery of the vending machine, getting 2 cans of juice for one price. I was destroyed both mentally and physically. Hence, I even lost interest in my hobbies. I was both mentally and physically devastated at the previous workplace. Hence, I even lost interest in my hobbies. I was both mentally and physically devastated at the previous workplace. Hence, I even lost my interest in my hobbies. I was both mentally and physically devastated at the previous workplace. Therefore, I even lost interest in my hobbies. I kept taking examinations after failing. Consequently, I passed it at my 8th attempt. I kept taking the examination even after 7 failures. Consequently, I passed it at, at the 8th attempt. I kept taking the national examinations even after failing 7 times. At long last, consequently, I could pass on my 8th trial. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!